Anthony Adebayo. We off the record.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo. And the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.
You. I know Scott probably hates when we're not in the same room. Because it always goes on mute.
No. It automatically puts me on mute. Like as soon as the intro plays, it automatically puts me on mute. Then you start talking and like, yo, Scott, you on mute. And it's like a 5 to 10 second delay to come off mute. So for the past like 2 years, it's appeared like I don't know how to take myself off of mute, but it's totally out of my control. And I feel the need to explain myself today. But normally by the time you've got your jokes out, you've already introduced yourself, and I'm like, fuck, I introduced myself. I never get an opportunity to explain myself.
Matter of fact, the floor is yours, yo.
No. That's why he puts me on mute.
Hey, that man explained himself like, you know what? I ain't even gonna use the analogy that Phil used this morning when we was on a call.
What did Phil say? Because I think it's talking
not
about
important.
one of our other friends. But what do you call it? Phil always got like a good terminology for it. It was a very accurate descriptive
of our other good friend.
What did he say? What? How did he phrase that?
I forgot, yo.
Man, killed the joke. So let's move on.
All right, this is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
With Scotty B.
All right. Well, now that Scott's off mute, I think that we can talk some sports and I know everybody's like, why it's Saturday, why they on over here? Well, because we want to. Ultimately, it's because we want to. The week got away from us, but we felt like there's enough things to talk about, so we felt like we'll come here on a Saturday morning and get some content.
All right, so right now, you got baseball full swing, but nothing really.
All-Star break's coming up. It's All-Star break now, actually.
Right. Then you got the basketball summer league.
Yep.
And you got training camps.
And you got WNBA All-Star week.
WNBA.
Well, that's next week. The All-Star game is next Saturday. So, I mean, I say this. I know you kind of like criticize this time of the year in sports, like this. If I'm, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, this is like your least favorite time of the year, right?
It is, but I think this year I had to figure out an appreciation of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think like when you're during football, during basketball season, it's like go, right? You gotta you want to be watching all the games. For baseball, I feel like if I'm in the house, I watch baseball game, but I'm definitely cool with the alerts. So it gives you the opportunity to do other things.
Mm-hmm.
The summer league, like I said, it's been intriguing. watching all the rookies. I guess let's start there. Have you caught up on any of the summer league games?
I've watched a few. I saw the Lakers and not Sixers, but the Lakers and Mavs. the other day with Flag and Bronny, and I thought it was a pretty good game. I know I hey look man, I'm an Ace Bailey fan. I don't know if y'all have noticed already. I that's my guy. That's my guy. You know, I felt like I might be in a minority. I think he's gonna be better than Cooper Flag, but I might be in a minority. I might be in a minority. Cooper Flag is gonna get all of the publicity. He's gonna get all of the love, but Ace Bailey is a baller, man, and I think that he should get his just due. But I understand why why he wouldn't, but you know.
So I'm not going to say you're in the minority.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also not going to say I agree with you. Like I feel like Cooper Flag is going to be the better player,
Damn.
but I do agree that Ace could possibly have a better rookie year based off a situation. Like I think Cooper Flag is coming into the perfect situation to where he's
Mm-hmm.
going to be asked to do as much as Ace Bailey is. So from a number standpoint, opportunity standpoint, yeah, Ace Bailey is going to his rookie year to me is going to look different. If Cooper Flag wasn't in the equation, Ace Bailey, I think runs away with the best player in this actual draft. So I don't
I
think
agree.
too far off from saying that possibly he could end up better than Cooper Flag. I mean, how many times have we seen somebody go number one overall and you look 4 years down the road and that second or third or fourth guy that was in that draft does end up having a better career or ends up being better. So I don't think you're too far off the mark. With Cooper Flag, I think everybody sees the upside. You know,
Yeah.
just for what he was able to do as a Duke freshman, and just the way that he carried himself all season. You
And
see,
he's
like
super young too.
he's super young, and you see if once he puts all these things into his game. I mean, you look at it; he had a bad game against the Lakers,
Right, right.
but it still was not a horrific game. I mean, he still had 10 points.
We've seen worse games
Oh
from
yeah,
him.
yeah, we
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
seen worse.
He said that was the worst game, one of the worst games of his life.
Yeah, and if having 10 points is one of the worst games of your life, and that was your first game. I mean, and he played defense. He played as a team. They got the
Yeah.
W. So I mean, there's a tremendous upside for him.
Yeah, no, I agree. So my personal opinion, it's gonna be one of those two that get rookie of the year, in my personal opinion. Um I think I think that I think that those two guys, because if Ace Bailey didn't have, let's put it like this: if he would have went to all the workouts, if he would have went, if he would have interviewed, if his guidance would have been better, going into this draft process, I do feel like he would have been number two. Now, I'm not gonna be mad at what he did. He's trying to position himself for his future. He's trying to position himself so when it's time for him to get that next contract, he's in a good position. And he did say he wanted to go somewhere where he can get the ball and be a playmaker. Washington was one of the places I think in Washington he probably could run for president. That team's so damn bad, but I think that Washington is getting better. They got a lot of young talent. But had he gone to Washington, I could tell you now, I would have been at more Wizards games than I normally am.
So I know I was overcritical and harsh about the guidance that he has gotten, right? You know,
Right.
because it is different.
Mm-hmm.
The first to do it is always critiqued and criticized the most. And I don't want to give him the credit of being the first to do it, but we'll just say that his path and his journey and the way that his approach has been different than what we've seen. But you go back to what you just said about positioning yourself for the next contract, getting yourself in a position to where you are able to be the playmaker, to where you can end up with a max contract. Is he wrong for doing that? And I don't think so. When you put it into that perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he is, what is he, like 18, 19 years old, like 19 years old, and coach told me one time, you don't know what you don't know, right? And it's like, if the people that's in his corner don't really know, or are, they have a way of their style, or let me not say style, but their process that they want him to go through, and it's different than what has been happening, it's definitely gonna get looked at like, yeah, this ain't what we going for. I can tell you now, if it was the NFL, we seen it in the NFL. If they feel like you're trying to buck the system or whatever, they're gonna blackball you. We're gonna talk about that too, but they're gonna blackball you. And the NBA, the players have right now. The players have more control. Even the incoming players, as we see, they have more control than the teams per se.
You know what? You made me just think about. You made me think about Michael Jordan. Um,
Okay.
there's a movie. I don't recall if it's on Netflix, if it's on Prime,
Mm-hmm.
but it basically has like I guess Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. It's got Chris Tucker, and it talks about like Jordan, like pre being drafted to the Bulls and how he ended up at Nike. And it
Oh,
talks
air,
air. Does it?
air.
That's what it is. And it talks about like kind of, it was cliche for everybody like that came out wanting to get a shoe deal. They were going to sign with Converse, and
Mm-hmm.
you just got what you got from Converse. Adidas was trying to make a run, but at the time, Adidas was the popular shoe just because of Ron DMC and what they were doing and how
Right.
they had made it was the hip shoe. I guess what equivalent to what Jordans would be today, Adidas
Right.
was like at that time. And so Jordan took a risk by going with Nike, and it ended up positioning him and paying off for him a lot more than anything. I don't want to say anything that he did on the basketball court, but
Mm-hmm.
I think anybody could agree that Jordan is in the position that he's in now, aside from his playing and being the greatest player, because of that decision that he made to go with Nike. The money that he's made
Right.
off of shoes trumps the money that he's made off of anything else.
Right.
And I think people back then behind the scenes were a little bit critical of him doing that because it was the status quo. Hey, look, you play ball, you go to Converse. Converse gives you 100,000 or whatever it is. But Nike to get them was like, look, you're going to have freedom to design your shoe. It's going to be out of the box. It's going to be different,
Mm-hmm.
and that type of thinking gave him like financial. I mean, it set him up. So possibly we're looking at Ace Bailey. Maybe 10 years from now, we're talking, hey, that was genius.
Yeah. I mean, or they're gonna be like,
Cost
that
yourself a
was,
lot of money.
yeah, because he definitely cost himself some millions because where he got picked. But I mean, I think that he's gonna be fine. I mean, he looks like a ball player in summer league. I know his first game, it was kind of like Cooper Flag's first game. It was like, let's kind of got to get the rust off. I'm interested to see how Cooper Flag does in game two because Ace Bailey in his second game was, I mean, he was amazing. So that's why I got as my rookie of the year, man.
But you brought up something too, and this is something to just keep in mind.
Mm-hmm.
They don't blackball you if you could play, right? You know what I mean? Like Kyrie Irving, We saw like we just saw this recently, right?
Yeah.
As pissed and mad as everybody was with him, they figured out how to still keep him on the court. You know,
Yeah.
if you could play, as long as you don't kill anybody or do something stupid like you're gambling,
Mm.
which we do have to transition there.
No, wait, no. We're gonna wait
We're
because
gonna wait.
we got winner of the week this week.
Okay, well, I got you. I got you with that.
Yeah, because it may not be what you think, but we gonna wait. We're gonna wait for the gambling. We gonna wait because they all go together. They all go together. But nonetheless, yeah. But you're right though. You're absolutely right. If you if you can ball, there's a lot more like room or rope for for you to like screw up or whatever. They gonna say, yeah, he's a headache, but they'll tolerate it for as long as you can, as long as you're good, they'll tolerate it. Once you start declining, they ain't tolerating none of that. Like, man, if you don't get out of here, like we don't want to hear nothing you got to say right now.
Well, you
Like,
saw it with AI.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they put up
Yep.
with that no practicing, showing up late, you can curse Larry Brown out, all that stuff.
Yeah, he was the MVP.
Yeah.
It's different.
The minute, they got him to Denver. The minute they saw him declining, they traded him to Detroit. They got him.
And then Detroit wanted him to come off the bench. I'm retiring. Which, you know what? I respect that. You know, you don't feel like you're a guy that's a bench guy, then yeah, I would retire as well if you felt like, but to me that just says you ain't gonna you ain't gonna be a coach, or you ain't gonna make a good coach because
it's ego. It was strictly ego. I mean, I don't want to derail that conversation, but if you really think about it, he thought, and I guess it was like similar to if you asked Michael Jordan to come off the bench, you asked Kobe to come off the bench, and I felt at the time he had that sort of like, I mean, yeah, Iverson, you could put his name in the same vein as Kobe and Jordan. Now he hasn't done as much, like he doesn't have as many accomplishments, but I could see where he would be offended. Like, no, I'm not coming off the bench, especially for Rip Hamilton.
Hey, look! Before we even continue, if you wanna join in the conversation and say a little bit, you can click the link. We'll get you on here. But yeah, that's funny. That almost sounded like, I mean, Rip Hamilton.
Rip Hamilton was an above average player that I'm not going to say Hall of Famer.
Oh,
but I will say had a really, really, really good career. Like he had a solid. He was for a while maybe the best player on those Detroit like teams. Like he. I mean, Rip Hamilton was solid, man. Well, more than solid. He was good.
okay.
But let's be real. And maybe even at that point in their careers, maybe Rip Hamilton was even better than Iverson. I don't know. But if I'm Iverson, I do understand a little bit like Rip, me, nothing personal Rip, but I am AI. Like maybe Rip should be coming off the bench. Like,
damn, that wasn't going to happen.
Well, they said Rip was one of the most conditioned athletes while he was playing. According to Kobe Bryant, he was like that. That was one of the tougher athletes that he had guarding, and it was not because of his skill, but just his conditioning and keeping up with him. And pretty much he ran the entire game.
Right. I mean, yeah, I get it. I mean, he averaged 17 for his career. I'm gonna get it. Yeah.
Okay, so you think he's a Hall of Famer? Because you signed like I was disrespecting.
Nah, so I was thinking, and it's one of those things where how I feel like if you got to think if somebody is a Hall of Famer, then they're not, right? And I was thinking, I was like, then I went and looked. I like to get the proof. We can't just go look at his 12 years of film or 14 years of film. So you got to use the credentials which will get you into the Hall of Fame anyway. So the only thing that he had, he's a 3-time All-Star, and he's of course, he's a champion, a one-time champ. I don't think that's enough to get you into the Hall of Fame. Personally, I think I would agree with you. Um, I would agree with you saying that oh god.
Yeah.
I would agree with you saying that he's not a Hall of Famer. We got to guess. Yo, y'all only getting a few seconds, so say what you got to say. I will clip this. I will turn your TV off. How you doing? Oh my. What's
Man,
up?
I'm in the biddy. What's good?
What's
Hi.
up?
How you doing?
I watching this show live. Appreciate you, gentlemen, and the takes are outrageous immediately. Uh, i- is Rip Hamilton a Hall of Famer? What?
No,
What?
he's not.
Of
No one
course not.
no one
Of
said
course.
no one said he was. But go ahead. What's it? What
Okay, but my major gripe is that don't mention Allen Iverson casually in the same vein as Michael Jordan and the late great Kobe Bryant. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
wait, what?
He's not on that tier.
Ah,
That tier is reserved for those two. Period. As it relates to two guards,
Let me ask you this: do you
yeah,
feel like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant at any point in their career should have came off the bench?
should have came off the bench. No,
Yeah,
no, no.
it would have been outrageous to ask him, right?
Yeah, but not outrageous to ask Iverson to.
why?
Well, because he was going to a championship caliber team, he wasn't a champion. He's diminutive, so he's smaller. They're a defensive based team. You would be putting them in a pickle having his little ass out there. Now this is before heavy pick and roll and picking out. But Allen Iverson was never a good on ball defender. He was a passing lane defender. But nah, it would have screwed up their whole
So
team.
when he was in Detroit, that was 08, 09.
No, no, but I agree with everything that you said, though. But do you feel like Allen Iverson felt that way? Like I feel like Allen Iverson, if you ask him,
And they
he
were not
puts
a
himself
champion.
in that same tier as Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan,
Well,
and
he'd
I
be
can see
wrong.
where he
He'd
would.
be wrong to do that. I
He,
mean,
I think the coaching agreed with you and agreed that he's not in that tier.
But
But
that
I can
team
see
wasn't
him
that good either.
thinking that this is disrespect at its finest. I'm not coming off the bench for Rip Hamilton. That's what I'm saying. Is like
I
regardless if he's in that tier or not, I can see it putting myself in Allen Iverson's shoes. Like, yo, you want me to come
no
off?
disrespect to Chuck. If Chuck was 6'6", then sure. But you compromising your whole strategy by having when you're a person like him, once your powers decline, you can't cover for your powers declining. Kobe could just turn into a defender. Mike could turn into a defender later in their career. A heady runner of the offense, run the offense through me. Allen Iverson was all about quickness, burst, elusiveness, being able to do all that. Once he declines, he's not a starter no more. That's
So,
Can
so that's
I,
actually where this conversation started. Is
yeah.
that's what we were saying is like he was the prime example of you will put up with some bullshit until you start to decline. So I would agree with you there too. Is at that point in his career, it wasn't the same AI that we were accustomed to seeing, and yeah, you get asked to come off the bench.
That
yeah,
team
and I understand
that
him
team wasn't
walking away from the game because of that. Mentally he might not be able to be a bench player, but physically he was at that point. So Yeah, if you gotta leave, go ahead and leave.
I mean, but I think that I mean, if we want to be real, that team was a bunch of washed players anyway.
Oh yeah,
So
they wasn't winning
Yeah,
no
yeah, yeah. They wasn't.
championship. Yeah, yeah.
It was the back end of any championship window they had. It was over. It was over.
yeah, it's
I
yeah,
misspoke.
yeah, and that's that's cool. Like, but I didn't even know that Antonio McDyess was on that team, and
Chris Webber might have been on that team for
nah,
a
Chris Webber wasn't, but Kwame Brown was, and
Yeah, that's
Chauncey
because
Phillips.
you were so young at the time. You were a young Bo. I know
I
I
was
outlived
young.
my time.
Oh, wait, yeah, I'm out. Hold on, before you go, I was, dude, I had a master's at that. What are you talking? You
That
know
don't
what?
mean you weren't young.
I, w- dude, you was in your 20s. I gotta go. I
I
gotta
was in
go.
my late 20s. I'm a grown ass man.
Dude, I was
Hey
in my
man.
late 20s too.
So respect to the show. Thanks for having me
Hey, yo,
on. And when I see you
hey,
in
hey.
battlegrounds again, and I'm on your head again. No Diddy.
Hey, man, get this man up out of there, man. I'm sick of him already. But but not to his point, yeah. Like AI, if AI was 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", at that time, then yeah, I mean, but I mean, shoot, even now we got guys that are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" that don't play no defense, but he was so small. He was a defensive liability. Even though those games back then, it was probably what like 90 to 84.
See, I want to tell you, Jeff Van Gundy always says the hardest player to coach is a declining superstar. And no, and he talked about it with Patrick Ewing. You know, he had to deal with that transition when he was in Houston. It was the same thing with Tracy McGrady.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's hard to like convince somebody, hey, you're not the guy anymore.
You ain't the guy no more. Hey, listen,
You-
let me tell you something. Hold on, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. As a coach, as a coach of grown men, I fully understand telling somebody, hey dog, hey man, you passed the prime. You are now officially a role player. If you can agree to play that role, we will be a highly successful team. But if you still think that it's 10 years ago and you still that dog that you were 10 years ago, you're not. And that's the hardest reality of forget being a superstar, of an athlete or someone that was a higher level athlete, right? That somebody that's been that played at a high level, that had talent, and when that talent diminishes, that's the hardest thing that you have to face as an athlete, because it's like, dang, Father Time is undefeated. Man, I lost a step. Like admitting that you've lost a step is tough for people.
Yeah, and I think it's tougher if you've never accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. So I think for
Right.
some of the guys that maybe they've achieved championships or they've been at MVP levels. Like I look at like Chris Paul now. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, yeah, he's lost a step, but it's easier for him to take a reduced role because he's been playing at a high level for so long. But then you look at some of the guys where you just like, yeah, you just can't make the plays anymore. So
Yeah. So I know we about to get into the winner of the week, right? But do you think by any is there anyone that you could not Chris Paul, because I mean Chris Paul hasn't won a championship, and he is somebody that is he still is he does this feel like he's ring chasing, or does it seem just like I feel like I can still play, I'm just going to continue to play?
so he came to my mind because he's wanting to go back to OKC. Um, a lot of that has to do with his rookie year when he was with the Hornets.
Mm-hmm.
The Hornets were playing in OKC, so he's always felt like that was home. And then he had the opportunity to play with Shea when he was real young,
Right.
well, a younger player in
And
the league.
in the Clippers, with the Clippers, right?
No, he played with him at OKC. So
You're right. You're right.
Shea went for Paul George, and
Mm-hmm.
I believe somehow they got Chris Paul out of Houston, it might have been. It wasn't with Carmelo, because I think him and Carmelo was in Houston at the same time. But somehow he got to OKC. I don't really recall. So he's wanting to go back to OKC because it's home. But it's irony that it is the championship team that's just locked up three of the best players.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
cool if he does go to that team. He's definitely not starting. You know what I mean? They've got the best backcourt. So
and
he
they
would
young.
have to take a reduced role.
And that's at this point, that's where he's at in his career.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely got to take a reduce. I mean, what?
But what if he goes in? So if he goes there, if he goes there, and they win a championship, would that be like Gary Payton on the Heat?
I think it would be acceptable. I think
I do too. I do too. I mean, it's a ring. I mean, look, it's more than this. I say this: you need your Udonis Haslams,
absolutely.
or your Robert Parishes on the Bulls, right? You need or John Sally on the Bulls, like those guys that are locker room guys. They're vets. That you got younger guys that need some sort of guidance. And let's be honest, Chris Paul. If the Suns didn't have Chris Paul 4 years ago, they wouldn't have been in the NBA Finals. So he has experience of leading younger talent, right? So I think he could. I mean, now they won the championship. So and they had what's the boy that played for the Lakers, the white boy, Caruso.
Yeah,
They had Caruso. So I mean, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if Chris Paul goes back to OKC for one last song and dance.
Yeah, and hopefully he does. But yeah, he definitely will be coming off the bench if he does.
Absolutely. It's no. I don't even think he even starts if they take time off.
Yeah.
I think he still comes off the bench. But all right, let's get to the winner of the week.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
You want this or Scott, or should I? Scott's on me. All right. So, this is no Scott. I'm gonna take this one. All right, pause. All right. So, and y'all just go with me, walk with me for a second. So I don't know if you've been living under a rock. The last couple of weeks, one of the main things on social media was this administration's big beautiful bill. I got the air quotes, and I personally try and keep politics off our show because I don't want to deal with that. We got to deal with that in our real life and stuff like that. So I normally don't even include politics, right? Until it really hits home. And it really affects me. Okay, so on this big, beautiful bill, such and such, there's something in there about gambling and going to the casino. And if anybody knows me, you know my my getaway where I get to relax, I go to the casino. I like to go by myself. I like to just vibe out whether I win or lose, and I feel like I'm pretty good. I won't call myself a professional because we're on the air and I don't want nobody I get certain letters in the mail, whatever. Nonetheless, this big beautiful bill, it says something about if you go to the casino, you will get taxed even if you lose.
What?
Yes. And I said, wait 1 minute. Even if you break even, you will have you gotta pay 90%. So what that means is, let's say, and just for the record, I don't bet no $10,000. I'm gonna use that as a round number.
Okay.
So let's say I go in there, I go to MGM, and I go in there with some money, I win, or I go in $10,000, or I win $10,000, right? I go in there with $1,000, I win $10,000. Now you will have to pay tax on that. But let's say I get hot and I get big headed and I lose the $10,000. I just dropped my mic. I got so excited. And let's just say I lose $10,000, right? There's zero. Now instead of me just going, pardon me, y'all. Instead of me just going to just going home and not having to worry about anything, now I would have to pay 90% tax, right? So instead of me, I would have to pay 90% tax off of the $10,000. I mean, 10% off of the $10,000. So I
You
was
have to pay 1,000. You'd have
I
to
would
pay
have to pay $1,000, yes, just for going. Like I didn't win anything, and I still would have to pay. I would have to pay 10%. So instead of it, yeah, it's crazy. I think is the craziest thing. I think is absurd, and it affects me. And for all y'all that voted for this guy and this administration, I blame you. So if I start getting bills in the mail, I'm going to reach out to everybody that I know personally that voted for this guy. And
But
I would.
you know what's going to happen though?
What?
You just created another black market. People ain't doing that bullshit. They'll just they'll open their own casinos in their houses. They'll do
Yeah.
they'll figure out how to put it on the dark web or pause, but they'll figure out something to where you wouldn't be paying like all these taxes. Like it's ultimately going to take money out of the casino's pocket.
Yeah. So Ab, I did too. And when I was looking, it said for tables. So I hope I'm wrong, but I bet I bet on sports too. I bet on sports. I bet on sports. So again, whether it is just sports books, I bet on games. So and I shouldn't have to pay for losing. I shouldn't. I think that see, hey Ab, see, don't go. You giving too much information. We don't get at it, but nonetheless, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. What I will say is in the gambling realm, some of these guys that some of these athletes that are betting. Oh, my fault. I'm sorry. Go, Scott. What are your thoughts on that? I apologize. I don't.
Oh no, you're good. I was just gonna say it's utter ridiculousness. I like that's crazy. But nah, go ahead to the sports gambling because I think you talked
Yeah.
about that.
So one of the first things that when you're drafted, when you're go to your rookie symposium, one of the things that they tell you about is you can't bet on the game. You can't bet on the game. And honestly, that should be common sense, right? That should be one of those things that this is probably not a good idea. I know growing up they always said if you got to question whether your parents approve of it or not, just know that they don't approve of it. So nonetheless, we got athletes now that are getting hemmed up for sports gambling on their particular sport. And now is Malik Beasley is under investigation for now. Some may think he was throwing games, and it's like this man was set to get a payday. Because let's think, honestly, if there's a league out of the 4 major sports where everybody's getting paid, it's the NBA. Even if you could be an 8th man on the bench making $100 million damn near. So he was getting ready to start negotiations, and everything's been put on hold because he's under investigation for gambling. And is at the point where it's like, man, are these guys that greedy or are they that dumb? Because they're getting told you can't gamble and they're still doing it.
Yeah, for him, and I think I might have been reading this, and maybe I was mixing it up. He's got some debt problems too, right?
I believe so.
On
Which
top of his
makes it even worse. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got like some evictions going on, and he's got some like jury he didn't pay for, and he's got a lot of financial issues, and probably needs to look into getting a financial advisor or somebody that handles like all his bills if he makes it out of this unscathed. Because from what I hear, he admitted to betting on himself, right? Because it was like something where he had to hit 3 pointers and only hit 2 3-pointers and was going for the third. And it's like, wow.
and that's yeah. I think that, do you want to throw your life away for, as Phil just said in the comments, an addiction? I like I just said a couple minutes ago, I enjoy going to MGM. I enjoy gambling. It is a thrill. It is fun. But one thing I will make sure is that my bills are paid and that this is just extra. This is just for fun. This is, because the one thing you don't want to do is be out there and now you scrambling. You don't know how you're gonna pay your rent or your mortgage. Your light bill is due. And I'm not gonna put anybody's name out there. We were in college and I stayed at a particular apartment. God, don't laugh, man. And again, it's like just like gambling, people are addicted to smoking weed, right? And if you don't have a job, or if your job ain't paying that, and your lights get cut off, I don't think that's a time for you to be smoking weed. I think it's a time to figure it out. It's a time to use whatever money you got, scrounge it up, and you're just not gonna be able to smoke weed until your lights get cut back on. Now, I was in a situation where I was staying with a friend. It wasn't Scotty, by the way. Scotty is a lot more responsible than. Okay, so just for anybody that thinks it was Scott, it wasn't Scott. But Scott lives like next door. So, but anyway, I go to work. I go to summer school. I come back one day, the lights are off. Now I'm like, oh my gosh! In the middle of the summer in Virginia, it's like, what are you gonna do? And
yeah, it wasn't just the lights. I thought it was the power. It was
the whole like power. The water. No, the water. I think the water was. I can't remember about the water, but I know definitely
the water was probably on because I think it was separate.
Yeah. So. Nonetheless, I'm like, what are we gonna do? I'm scrounging up some money. Now the bill was pretty high, and I had to I had to call my family back home because I wasn't making that much money. I was making like let's be clear. At this time, I was making like $6 an hour. Okay, so it was rough. So nonetheless, I get home one day and they like, yo, we gotta go to the weed man to get some weed. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon. The Dominion Virginia Power was still available to cut the lights on, but yo, it was bad, man. It was bad. I'm not saying who it was. It was technically I was staying at a friend's home because I didn't move into my apartment yet, and I was being cheap. I didn't want to stay on campus for summer school. Nonetheless, ultimately, we had to, I think Scott helped out. We had to get friends to help out. And it was like, yo, I was so disgusted that they wanted to go buy weed. And I don't smoke. So they wanted to go buy weed. while the lights is off in like 90 or 100-degree weather. I could not believe it. But thinking about it, that may be the situation that Malik Beasley's in, and Beasley's in, and that's situations that you see a bunch of people where they don't know how to manage their money, and they end up saying, "Yo, I'm broke," after netting what 100-200 million dollars in their respective league. So this was small compared to like a professional athlete, but in the grand scheme of things, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So
I would agree. Let me add a little bit more context. So, Ant is absolutely right. That's exactly what happened. But we used to do this thing to where like people would match a blunt, right? So pretty much like if I have a blunt, so I'd be like, "Yo, I'll match you," and that means they're going to bring a blunt. So we had in this particular neighborhood, it was a whole bunch of smokers, and we decided, okay, it's Friday, everybody about to get right before we go, so we're gonna smoke mad blunt. So it might have been like maybe 15 to 20 people I had at the crib, right? Because obviously we was gonna do this at the house that Ant was staying at, but because they didn't have any electricity, it got moved to my house. Now, mind you, all of this is being negotiated while Ant is on the phone with his sister trying to figure out how to get the lights out. I
and
mean,
I
the
don't
lights out.
and I am not on the lease or anything. I'm just
Right,
there for a session of summer school.
right. So I will tell you this: what I will always remember about this story was we're all in the house. I somehow I had free cable. So we're sitting around watching the free cable. You know, nobody else had cable, but I had cable. And Ant walks in, and I mean it's like a huge cloud of like smoke around everything except for Ant. Ant says, "Man, the lights out, and y'all having the biggest smokeathon of the year, but the lights are out next door. Make it make sense." And, and walks out. And we didn't see him for like 5 or 6 hours.
I was hot. I was hot, yo. I was
I
so
don't
mad.
know. I don't know where he went. Nah, this wasn't at River Road. This is before River
No, don't
Road.
even say. We're not gonna say the location. Just know we were. It wasn't River Road either. No. We are not doing that. We're not here to put nobody on Front Street. Just know that I was mad. I said sky's light because I was saying some curse words and my mama my who might be watching. No, I don't curse. I don't say no curse words around my mama.
Yo, you was
But
hot though. You,
oh,
you
I
was
was on
hot.
fire, and I could not believe it. And look, and I get it. I get it. You struggle because I've struggled, But damn, I'm like, yo, we got to figure this out. Y'all not trying to figure this out. We don't got no power, and it was hot, y'all. Let me tell y'all, it was dead smack in the middle of the summer in Virginia. It was hot,
So you
no
bring up the
electricity.
point, right? I don't think it's so much addiction. I think it's being young and not understanding. So I think like when you're young, you prioritize like different things. And we go back to the athletes that are getting caught up with the gambling, not paying their bills, not paying everything. It's just being young and making immature decisions. And when you don't have the right like circle or you don't have the right guidance, it's going to lead you to continuously make the wrong like decisions. HJC
All
himself.
right, hold on. Hold on. We're gonna add this dude. Just move back from the camera a little bit, okay?
With my babies. We had a wild time
Uh,
yesterday for my
uh,
son's birthday. So I'm over here just chilling. I didn't know that I turned the camera on. Oh, I'm so sorry.
you
What did I
you
do
you
such
you know
thing?
you're live, right?
Yes. I'm just being honest. I did not know I turned the camera on. I'm over here with this
Hey,
new
how you
phone
doing,
too. I'm over
man?
here
How
with
you
the newfangled devices. Hey, Scott, pleasure. I haven't met you in a long time, but how you doing? It's a pleasure to
doing?
talk
Doing
to you
mine.
again.
How you doing, good brother?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. I'm
All right,
good.
so since you're here, I got a story to tell. It's story time and off the record lane. All right,
Hmm.
my good friend, my brother from another mother, my boy Henry. All right, now Henry and I grew up together in Jersey, and we played football together. His dad would take us to school when we was in high school, pretty much every day the last 2 years of high school. Is it okay if I tell the camp
Yeah.
story, please? Is it okay? We're past this now, right? We're good.
Well, I almost took Jeff. Well, I almost took Jeff head off.
Yeah, yes. Okay. So now we're class of '99. As y'all know, I play around a bunch. You know, there's a lot of jokesters and playful people in the class of '99. So this one particular time, we would go to upstate New York for camp. Our last 2 years of high school. So
Hmm.
everybody's playing pranks. So there's this one guy. We're not saying no names. You already said the name. Don't say the name. We're not incriminating anybody. But so
Okay.
it was
Okay.
one of our teammates who's a good friend of ours. I believe they're good now. This was 27, 98. That was a long time ago.
Hey, hold on.
Nonetheless,
Hey, I still look young. Don't be telling everybody how old this is. I still look young. I can still go places.
sorry.
And
All
don't
right,
get age
okay, all right.
discrimination, okay?
My fault.
I take my
Nonetheless,
vitamins.
we're in camp and you know, most of the time the seniors didn't play pranks against each other. We were playing the pranks against the underclassmen and stuff like that. But we had one guy that took it a little too far. And he wanted to play a prank against Henry, who is
Yo,
pretty mild mannered. I got this. You matter of fact, you decided to come here. He's mild mannered. He cool. Now, when we were in high school, he played. He ain't no little dude. He wasn't no little dude. And so anyway, the dude decided, and y'all forgive. I know he don't want to hear this.
dude,
Dude
he
decided
messed up
to
my
piss in
shampoo,
his
man.
shampoo.
He messed with
He
my shampoo. So,
yeah.
so look,
No. Let me finish.
it's
So
disgusting. It was on my hand, my guy. I was like, what's this in my
yes.
shampoo? Like,
So the dude pissed in the shampoo, right? He didn't use the shampoo, but he almost did. He almost did. At least I don't know if he pissed. All I know is he
no,
said
no,
he
it
didn't use it.
almost it
And
came
then
out funny. I was like, what is
so
on my hand?
so then the dude leaves out because we were like in bunkers, right? So the dude leaves out and we had to calm this man down. Now I don't know if y'all ever seen Wolverine get crazy and upset, but that's what it was. So we get to the cafeteria. Mind you, he's not saying nothing. He's quiet. This is at lunchtime. Now, mind you, is our school there, and it's probably a good another like 7, 8, 9, 10 schools. There's a bunch of schools there. Everybody's eating lunch at the
It,
same
it
time.
was like it may be like 15 because they had shifts
Yeah,
for
it
lunch.
was
So
it was a
we
lot
was
of
like the
schools there, right?
second shift.
So
Yeah.
all I know, we eating. He don't say nothing. Just says, flip the table. I'ma kill you, mother. Beep, beep, beep. And it took about 5 guys to try and hold this dude down, right? And I said, oh, he gonna kill that motherfucker. Yo, the whole we was there for a week. This was like Monday. We were there for the whole week till Saturday. And so he ended up the dude they ended up taking him out of the room with all the seniors, and he had to go in the room with like the freshmen or the sophomores, and they kept him away from him. Mind you, we all played on the same side of the ball, right? So he didn't play that much offense, but Henry played some defense. He played defense too. Yo, every time, and he don't know that I know this. Every time we be in a defensive huddle, I look at this motherfucker, and he be looking at him, and I'm like, "Don't do it, please, don't do it." Right? He wanted to ring. Yo, you
I
see,
want
he
to
light skin,
wreak
right?
havoc.
So he was this complexion in high school. He was as red as this. You see this hat right here? He was that red, and I said, "Oh my god, he's going to kill this dude." I don't know how they pieced it up or when they pieced it up, but I don't even know if they fought. Honestly, I just if you want me to be honest, I think he got the payback because he tried to start messing with one of the dude girls. But anyway, that's besides the point. That's
Oh,
I, that's besides the point.
oh,
Man, what's good, man? We talking sports. That was a sports moment. Story time. How you feeling, man? What you got?
oh, just to finish the story, I would like to, I coach eighth grade now, not eighth grade, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds
Uh-huh.
football,
Mhm.
and I also been coaching baseball too with
Yeah.
my son, and he's doing great. And one of the parents is in the showcase today for baseball high school kids
Okay.
that we grew up with, what he's growing up with. So it's beautiful. We in Parkview School Zone, and it's baseball is a way of life out here. Uh,
Yeah.
and I like to shout out to
Yeah.
all the coaches out there who make that possible.
We
Because
gonna we
that
gonna we
day
gonna we
there,
gonna we gonna get your son on the show too.
all right, cool, appreciate
Yeah,
it.
we
'Cause-
gonna get him on the show because I know he's nice because I be traveling and you traveling for baseball. You you,
Now,
you doing
yeah,
so he doing something right. Shoot.
yeah. So he got we had a tournament, Alabama. We just came back from, and he batted 333, right? Uh,
okay,
he
no,
had, he
no,
had he had one day he had a slump out of the 5-day tournament. He had one day slump, killed his average, but he did very good, man. He making highlight catches on his knees and sliding and running, waving at the fans, catching the ball out in the innings. So that outfield action is amazing. I feel so proud of my baby. But
How old is
I
he
got to
again?
share the
How old is
coach. He just turned 13,
okay.
he? Yeah.
so he'll be in high school next year at Parkview. So hopefully, it'll be a great world for us from there.
All right. Well. Look, we gonna be down there. We gonna be down there for the what game is it, Scotty? Falcons Commanders.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's great because uh, the Commanders quarterback know my wife's family, and so he came through and gave him a shout out for his birthday. So hopefully, we can all meet up for that. So that'd be great.
okay.
No doubt.
All right,
Um,
man. So look, because we about to wrap up. Because
no, you
but
gotta let me tell my side of the story on
my
that. On
fault,
that,
my
on
fault, my fault. All right, go ahead.
no,
Finish the
no,
story.
no. 'Cause I was going long winded to say, yo, them coaches saved me, yo. The coaches kept talking me out of beating the brakes off Jeff. It was like,
Stop
yo,
saying names.
so what like this? So oh, I'm sorry. So after I flipped the table over, I rushed him, and like 3, 4 dudes grabbed me, tossed them like rag dolls,
It was five.
threw a
It was
couple gut
five.
punches to the other high school students, got them off me. It was fine. But that tall coach, I don't know, I think he went to Central. He was actually a New Jersey prospect, picked me up by my neck and slammed me. And then I hit him, threw him out the way. Then he picked me up again by my neck and said, "You gotta calm down." But I have to give him his credit. At the time, it dawned on me like this dude is calm. I know I hit him with some good body blows. He was like, "No, man, it ain't worth it." So C did what he had to do to keep me from getting in any trouble. But the fact that he had me by the neck, though, when I think about it, he had some control over the situation, but not enough. Though I was still coming, but
Hey yo.
you got to do
Oh,
what you got to do.
oh,
He did not take it personal. He understood what was happening, and he kept me in
yeah.
pace. He kept me
Right.
in pace. Like, yo, you got a future, my guy. Don't ruin your life because he a dummy. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you know what I mean? Because some dudes, the kid hit him up 2 times, he gonna punch the kid. He gonna get
Yeah.
out of line. But he stayed calm and he gave me some life lessons. So just giving a shout out to those. And Central sucked. Their football team could win but 2 games, but the coaches were there and they were there for the kids. So you gotta
Right.
give respect to those who there for everybody. You know what I mean? These
And,
kids
and,
need,
and, the
even
thing,
out here
and
in
the
the
thing,
suburbs
and
or
the
in the
thing,
inner city, kids need
and the
guidance
thing,
and parents can't do it all.
right. And the thing, he wasn't even your coach. He was another coach from actually a rival school. That's the crazy thing. I mean, we beat the brakes off of them, but yeah,
Yep.
he didn't have to do it. He could have just watched. He could have just sat there and watched you try and rip that dude's head off. But I mean, and those are some of the things that whether you were when you were coach, it's just things you got to do. So. Hey, look, man. I'm glad you didn't take it there, man. Because I remember that day like it was yesterday, man. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, man.
Yeah. The funny
Yeah,
part is I felt his nose sweat here. I felt his nose hair, sweat hair on my face. My fist swung by his face so close. I swear I felt like I touched him, but I didn't. I was just like, ooh. And that's when dude grabbed me. I was like, oh. I probably relocated all type of facial bones that had would landed.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask
It
you a
just
question.
missed. He just grabbed me. Like he pulled me out of my range.
Let me ask you a question. Did
For
y'all?
what?
This is probably a
Okay.
little messy. Did y'all ever fight?
No. You know what? Almost a couple of times, but I remember what dude said, and I still hold that to this day. It keeps me out of trouble with other stuff as an adult. Like, yo, don't let the actions of others ruin what you got.
Right.
And that's why I remember that coach when he said that. Like, you know, basically, he basically almost choking me out to keep me calm. But he's talking to me like with a calm voice, like, do not let what he do ruin your life. You know what I mean? Do
No,
not
but that's still
let what
life.
he
That's
done
still life
ruin your
lesson.
life.
Yeah,
You gonna
that's
kill
sound
him.
advice. Yeah.
Huh?
Nah, and I said no. That's life.
Yeah,
Life
you gonna
lesson.
kill him. And so
Yeah.
So I'm about to take his head off a couple times, but people like I'm thinking about what he said, and they like people. Let's put it like this: when emotions kick in, I was always blessed that somebody would grab me or stop me or be in the way, so I could have a moment to think. And that's why,
Right.
and that never happened. So you know what I mean. So you
Right.
got to think ahead. I tell my sons, I tell the other kids I coach too. You got to think about yourself and then your team, because if you know good, the team know good.
Right.
So you got to do those things. So I just remember that event. So that we never threw no hands. I
Good.
saw him
Good.
at the class reunion a couple years back. It was cool. You know what I mean? Like no ill will. It ain't like he tried to poison me to death. But you know what I
Right.
mean? It
Right.
was
At
disgusting
the
though.
end of the
I
day,
still, me and
you didn't
germs,
put
man. I
in.
don't, I'm light
Yeah,
skinned, man. You can mess up my skin with that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you didn't put it in your hair, so I mean, it's the almost could have. Like so.
Hey, yo, and this is the last thing before you, because we
Yeah,
about to
it's the
wrap
fact,
up.
but it was on that left hand.
So look, so you know what's funny is
Ugh.
anytime I see something about Mary, man, I always think of. Hey, yo, hey, thanks for joining us, man. I'm gonna hit you up a little later. You heard?
All right, please do, my guy. Hey, Scott, man, you
I
be
got you.
great, man. Keep him in
Are
line,
you?
man. He a wild man on the low, man. I know you know. Keep him in line.
I
Thank you.
ain't even do nothing. I'm innocent. Hey, yo,
I
bye,
appreciate
yo,
it,
bye.
bro.
Bye. We ain't nah. I ain't talking about man, I ain't even do nothing. But shout out to him. But again, yeah, shout out the coaches, man, because that was the best part of the story of what the coaches. But I felt like it was because he tried. Scott, when I tell you he tried to kill that man,
You could tell. You could tell, like just when he was telling the story, like anytime you see somebody at a class reunion and it crosses your mind that I should fuck him up here. That was 20 years later. He still had that at the
but yeah,
forefront of his
it's crazy. And the dude is a good dude too. It's just he made a bad decision. It
crossed
was
the line. Yeah,
huh?
I said, nah, he crossed the line.
Yeah, so I wouldn't never even think of doing anything like that. But nonetheless, man.
Yes. So
Hey Scott, man, your nephew is over here bugging me. So we
yeah,
gonna
that's
wrap
what
this
I said.
up because
Everybody's bugging
golly,
me.
this dude.
So get them over here, Pauls.
All right, yeah. But yeah, he get on my nerves, man. But yeah, man, let's get up out of here. This is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Boy, Scotty B.
We out. Eventually, we out. Oh, there you go.
Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo. And the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.